So hi, I wanted to talk today about the Harry Miller case. Harry Miller was he's a guy who was visited by the Humberside police about a year or two ago for transphobic tweets that he made, and he was basically given a kind of telling off by the police officer who said that he shouldn't sort of be posting, be harassing trans people online and posting sort of misgendering them and giving them sort of like offensive messages and stuff. And so Harry Miller took umbrage at this, and he was outraged because the police visited him at his place of work, and he claims a police officer told him to quote unquote check his thinking. So but so Harry Miller decided to take Humberside police to court, to say that they were trying to infringe his freedom of speech. So he actually won his case yesterday, and the judge, Justice Knowles, criticised Humberside Police. They won't change the College of Policing's guidelines on prosecuting transgender hate crime, but they found the police guilty of unlawful harassment, and trying to curtail Harry Miller's freedom of speech, and he has an apology from them, and so here's what he has to say anyway about it.
This has been a really great day for free speech. This judgment, in no uncertain terms at all, has made it very clear that when the police come against you because you have said something that is controversial, or because some trans person somewhere decided that they didn't like it, that when they take that trans person's moan seriously and they come and try and censor you, that is entirely illegal. And Mr. Justice Knowles equated it to the Gestapo and the Stasi. He said, we've never had a Gestapo or a Stasi in Britain. The actions of Humberside Police came way too close for comfort, and we now have a precedent set in the High Court that when the police do that again...
Right. Well, yeah, a few things about this Harry Miller character. Um, First off, he has been portrayed as a cause célèbre in a lot of sections of the transphobic mainstream media. I mean, you can see here that they're quite gushing about him. I mean, Russia Today, for instance, victory for freedom of speech. Well, they should know. I mean, freedom of speech under Putin. Well, there we go. And all kinds of journalists have been kind of jumping on the bandwagon and sort of using him to bash trans people with, and say that we're kind of fascistic and we're trying to curtail sort of people's right to say what they want. Also, as well, there's this piece in the Tory Graph, another piece in the Tory Graph by Izzy Lyons. Izzy Lyons is an anti-trans activist. I think he's based at Bristol University, and he's quite right-wing as well. But he, I mean, yeah, well, Harry Miller is not actually an ordinary bloke, because it turns out that he's an ex-public school boy who was a Harrow pupil like Toby Young, as evidenced by this tweet here. Toby Young calls him a fellow Harrovian and or Harrower. Uh, I thought they were supposed to go to grammar school, but there we are. They obviously didn't teach them proper grammar, but it doesn't matter because their parents already had plenty of money. So Toby Young, for instance, he only had to say who his father was, and he got into I think it was either Oxford or Cambridge because he didn't. I don't think he actually had any qualifications, or not the qualifications that you need to get into Oxford or Cambridge or any other university for that matter. Anyway, I digress. Yeah, Toby Young is kind of has been championing him as well, and also Justice Knowles. He made a comment along the lines of, we've never had a secret police in the UK, we've never had a Gestapo, we've never had a Stasi, we've never had a Cheka or Cheka, which was the Stalinist, well, it was actually the post-revolutionary Russian Bolshevik secret police, as far as I know. It might have been the Stalinist police, but I thought the Stalinist police was the KGB. But yeah, so this Justice Knowles, he says, we've never had anything like that in this country. Well, actually, that's historically inaccurate because we have had an equivalent of the secret police in this country after in the years following the execution of Charles I, after the Civil War, and they would go around hunting down people who were royalists or who were Catholic, because they were Puritans, they were very anti-Catholic. They scapegoated Irish people, particularly. They committed atrocities in Ireland, and they were basically like the 17th century Western European equivalent of ISIS, the Puritans. You know, we all know about the witch burnings and witch trials. So yeah, so he's wrong there, and hence the actual nursery rhyme, goosey goosey gander, whither do I wander, upstairs, downstairs in milady's chambers. There I found an old man who wouldn't say his prayers, so we grabbed him by the left leg and threw him down the stairs. Now that comes from the time of the following the English Civil War, when you had Cromwell's Republic, and the Ironsides, the Roundheads, would go out and hunt for dissidents and obviously either imprison them or execute them, burn them at the stake, imprison them in towers. So yeah, and goosey goosey gander refers to the way that the Roundhead cavalry who came to arrest people and hunt them down and interrogate their families would actually walk, because they wore these high riding boots that were made of suede leather, I think, and that would make them kind of walk in a kind of goose-steppy sort of way. So yeah, we actually not only did have our own version of the secret police in this country, but we had who were like after designated political criminals and hunted them down, but we also actually invented the goose step. So yeah. So yeah, Justice Knowles, you obviously didn't major in history. Um, but yeah, I mean, the thing is, I feel that this ruling is wrong. They should not have ruled in Harry Miller's favour, because a lot of the abuse that people like Harry and his transphobic friends uh, posting on Twitter and is actually harassment of trans people and bullying. So it's not merely saying I don't think trans women are women or I don't think trans men are men. It's actually going after trans people and misgendering them. It's sexual harassment in a lot of cases. And now that ruling has given the green light for people like Harry Miller and Posey Parker and all those people, um, who were pictured at the High Court with him the other day, and to actually go and harass trans people even more. And I fear that there's going to be a tragedy that happens soon, whereby possibly a young trans person will be bullied online by these people, and they may already have low self-esteem and they could harm themselves or even worse. So yeah, I think it sets a very dangerous precedent, and also it kind of emboldens the resurgence of the far right as well, because we also saw this week Gina Miller take Rod Liddle, the journalist, and I use that term advisedly, journalist, to court, and she lost her racial discrimination case because Rod Liddle actually described Gina and, you know, other people as well as quote unquote monkeys, which is like a racist term. So yeah, so it looks as if, this is kind of the tone of Brexit Britain now, which is really, really ominous and sad, I think, and Harry Miller himself is actually a Tommy Robinson supporter, as evidenced by tweets that he put out a couple of years ago, and even asking where he could donate to this far right, um, sort of, what would you call him? Well, he's an extremist, and he's actually been banned from Facebook and Twitter and everything. And so, yeah, he's actually a supporter of Tommy Robinson. Posey Parker has spoken in favour of Tommy Robinson, sat down with Sargon of Akkad as well and shook hands with him. And also, as well, I wonder if it's now entirely legal to harass somebody for being trans and for, make fun of our looks. Because I mean, look at some of these um, screenshots of Twitter posts here, Twitter comments. How is that expressing freedom of speech? That's just downright bullying and intimidation. So if it's okay for them to do that because I'm trans, is it okay for them to do that because I'm Jewish now? And if not, why not? And as I said, this sets a very dangerous precedent. So yeah, so I realise this video is kind of rolling on a bit, so I will say cheerio for now, and please, if you have any comments on this, or you have had similar experiences of transphobic trolls getting away with it, please do let me know. And thank you all for watching. And as I said in my last video, I love you all and I really appreciate your feedback. Thank you. Bye.